Hi friends, it's Miss Inez and we're back here with math. Today's math is pretty exciting because we've already made all these math materials, and what we're going to start today is our new math routine. So you'll start to notice a pattern every day where we start with some application problems, which we've already talked about, and then we move into some problem sets, and then we also will finish with an exit ticket. So we're going to get into that all today, but for now, introducing lesson 1, our learning target for today, what we are trying to learn. I can use a number bond to find numbers within a bigger number using a group of 5. By the end of today, you're going to be able to do this. But first, we have some tricky words here. I see number bond is bold and underlined because it's important. Within, we've got to talk about what that means when we say within during math class. And I have group of 5. We need to understand what a group of 5 is. So let's unpack those words. So a number bond, if you remember, is what we were talking about when we made our math materials. It's when you take one bigger number, which usually goes here, and we're going to break it up into 2 smaller parts. And those parts go here and here. We're going to practice this today so that you can see some examples. Within, when we're talking about math, is going to mean like inside. We're going to be looking for numbers that are smaller inside of a bigger number. And the last thing we're going to do is start working with groups of 5. If you can see here, I have 7 ladybugs, 7 lovely ladybugs. And if you notice, I have a group in the circle. I have a group of 5. Then I have 2 more, 6 and 7. I start with 5, and then I have 6 and 7. So today, we're going to be learning how we can group numbers by 5 to make our math a little easier. So we're going to start looking for groups of 5 because it's going to help us out. All right, before we get started, you're going to need some materials. Make sure you have your whiteboard that we made on Friday. I have mine right here. Make sure that you have a whiteboard marker. I have one right here. Make sure that you have either your carton that you made. You might have made an egg carton. Maybe you did. Or maybe you made a paper tin frame. You could use that too. And also make sure that you have 10 counters. Today, I'm going to use macaroni, but I'm not sure what you used for your counter. You could have also used coins, but you're going to need 10 counters. All right, let's get started. So here is our application problem. Remember, that's a real life math problem. Dora found 5 pieces of paper that flew out the window. Then she found 2 more papers that flew out of the window. Whoa, wow. Make a sketch of how many pieces of paper Dora found all together and show the amount with numbers. So I'm going to pause for a second if you want to pause the video so that you can use your whiteboard to sketch out the problem. And I'll meet you in just a second with the answer. Bye. And we're back. So I have my sketch of the answer right here, which I did on the computer. I drew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. I have a group of 5 right here. And then I sketched the other 2 pages, 1, 2. So I have 5 and 2 more, the same as 5 plus 2, which equals 7. The way I got to 7 was I started with my group of 5 and then I counted on 6, 7. That's how I got to 7. How did you get to 7? Maybe you can share with me another time. Let's move on to the next part of our math. First, take out your egg carton or your paper tin frame. My egg carton's here, but I'm actually going to use this tin frame that I have right here so you can see it better. I want you to look at your tin frame and see How many spaces are there in the top line? How many spaces are there in the bottom line? I'm going to pause for just a second so that you could pause the video and figure that out. All right, now we're going to start looking for some numbers within a number. So I've got my egg carton tin frame right here, and I've got some macaroni I'm going to use. So I'm going to take some out into my palm, and I'm going to put one macaroni piece in each of the cups of my tin frame in the top row. Let's see what that looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'll put the extras back in my jar. So I have 5 macaroni pieces in my top line. So now we're going to look to see if we can find some numbers within the number. So I'm looking, and I think I see 2 numbers within 5. Let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these 2, and let's see what my other part is. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So one number within 5 is 3, and then this part that I've covered is the other part. Do you think you know what's underneath my fingers? Let's see. 1, 2. So I have 2 here. That's one part of 5. And 3 here. That's another part of 5. Let's keep going with this. So we just talked about how in the number 5, we can find 2 numbers inside, right? We can find 2 and we can find 3. So let's see how we would show this on a number bond. I have my number bond here, and if you can see, I actually put it in my plastic sleeve so that I can also use my whiteboard marker on it. You could try that too if you want. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to count out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I have my 5 macaronis on the big number part of my number bond. And what I'm going to do is the same thing we just did with our tin frame. I'm going to break it up into 2 parts. I'm going to break our 5 up into 2 here and 3 here. So I used all my macaronis because I didn't change the number at all, right? I had 5 here. I didn't change it. All I did was I broke it up into 2 and 3. You could show this also with numbers. So let me remove my macaroni, and I'm going to make sure I take nice care of them. I'm going to put them back in my little cup. And you could show the same thing with numbers, right? We started with the number 5, and we looked for 2 numbers inside, right? We found one part of 5 is 2, and another part of 5 can be 3. Let's keep going now with some bigger numbers. Now I've gotten back out my tin frame and my macaroni. And remember, friends, you can pause anytime if you want to do this along with me, and you need a little more time to do it. Because I know Miss Inez is going a little fast because she knows this is a video, so you can pause anytime. So if I'm going a little faster than you're going, it's a great time to press pause. All right, now that we've talked a little bit about that, and we have that reminder, let's keep going. Last time we made 5. Do you remember that? We did a 5 up here, and then we made it on a number bond. Now let's go with a bigger number. Let's try for 7. So I'm going to follow the same strategy. I have my macaroni here, and I'm going to put one counter, so my macaronis are my counters, in each of these cups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm noticing something. I haven't gotten to 7 yet, right? I still have a little bit of ways to go, but I filled up my entire top row. So now what I need to do is start filling up the cups in my bottom row of my tin frame. If you remember, our top row of our tin frame has 5, and so does our bottom. And we're always going to go, just like we do with writing, from left to right. So I went from left to right with 5, and now I'm going to do 6, 7. So here I've made 7, and actually I'm noticing that it's really easy to see 2 parts of this number. It's really easy for me to see a group of 5 within the number 7 because my 10 frame is divided into 2 rows. I have 5 and 5. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really easily, right? I know in a snap that that top row is 5. I have 5 here, and then I have 2 more. So I'm noticing that 5 and 2 make 7. All right, so now let's use our same macaroni counters, and now we'll see if we can show what we just showed with our egg carton 10 frame. We'll see if we can show it with our number bond. So we're gonna have to count out 7 first. Got my counters here, and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 macaronis, 7 counters in the part of my number bond where the bigger number goes. And now I'm just going to break up that number into the 2 parts. If we remember, one of the parts was the top row of our 10 frame. It was 5. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have a group of 5, and the other part of my number is 2. I have 5 and I have 2. And together, these 2 parts make 7. So I've done this now with my 10 frame. I've done it with my number bond. So now what we're going to use are numbers, okay? We've been using counters, now we're going to use numbers. So I'll put my counters away nice and neatly, and I'm now going to use my numbers to represent the counters. So I had 7 here, and I broke up my 7 into 5 and 2. You'll notice that 5 and 2 make 7. Now that we practiced this a lot all together, we're going to start doing our math problems. Let's get started. Now it's time for our problem set. You're going to use your whiteboard. I took out my number bond from my whiteboard and put a white piece of paper back in so that's my normal whiteboard again. And you're going to use this to complete as many problems from the problem set as you can. You don't have to complete all the problems if it gets to be too much, but if you have time and if you can, you're going to keep going and you're going to try to finish all of them. Here's our first set of problems. Circle 5 and then make a number bond. So you're going to look at the picture. Here I have some soccer balls. You're going to circle 5 and then make a number bond, just like we were doing with our counters and our 10 frames. Then you're going to do the same thing for these butterflies. You're going to circle a group of 5 and then you're going to make a number bond to figure out the total. I'm going to give you some time to press pause so that you can do this on your whiteboard, and then I'll show you how I did it. All right, friends, so the first thing that I did was I copied down the problem with my blue marker the exact same way that it looked on the problem set. So I have my 5 soccer balls up here, and then I have the rest of them down here, and then I copied the number bond. I even noticed that they used squares, so I used the same squares. I copied the exact same thing, and then I filled in this part, the 5, because it was already done. And something else I noticed was already done was this circle. So then I took a different colored whiteboard marker, this time I'm using red, and then I solved the problem. So I see that this is a group of 5, and that looks like this part right here. So I have 5, and then I was noticing I have this other part of the number, right? I have 1, 2, 3 here. I have one part here, that's 5, it's already there. But this part 3 isn't in my number bond yet, so I have to put it. All right, now I have 5 and 3. So now I have to figure out what 5 and 3, when I put them back together, make. But since I already have a group of 5, I could just count on from 5. I've got 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, awesome. So I know that 5 and 3 make 8. Nice. So that's how I did it. Did you do it the same way? For my butterfly problem, I did the same thing. I drew the butterflies just like they had them. I kept the row of 5 and then I added the other one down here. And then what I did is I also copied the number bond and I filled in the 5 because the problem already had the 5. So now I'm taking my other color marker and first I need to make my group of 5. So I'm going to circle the group of 5, and that's already here for me. And I can see almost in a snap that my other part is going to be 1 because I only see 1 butterfly there. And if I know that this is 5, I also know that 1 more than 5 is 6. That must be 6 butterflies. So that's how I did it. How did you do it? Now we have the rest of our problem set. So what I'm going to do is I'll read you the problems, and then I'll give you a moment to press pause so that you can copy them down, and then you can press play again when you've solved the problems. So for our next 2 problems, you're going to circle 5 and then make a number bond. I'm going to pause now so you can pause. For the next 2 problems, they're a little different. The directions are: put nail polish on the number of fingernails shown from left to right. Then fill in the parts. Make the number of fingernails on one hand apart. My suggestion to copy this down is maybe use the same strategy we did for our application problem. You could trace your hands. Just a thought. I'm going to pause so that you can pause. Our next problems. Make a number bond that shows 5 as one part, and we actually helped you out up here. I'm going to pause so that you can pause and do these 2 problems. Here, we have 2 more problems that follow the same pattern. Can you find the 2 parts in the total? I'm going to pause so you can pause. And here are our last 2 problems. Remember, if you're getting tired, if this is too much, our goal is as many as you can. Maybe you didn't get all the way to these last 2 problems, and that's okay. Here we go, our last 2 problems. I'm going to pause so you can pause. All right, friends, drum roll, please. We've made it. We're at our exit ticket. This is what you're going to have to upload to Firefly. So even if you didn't finish all of the problem set, that's okay. When you think you're done, or maybe your mom and dad or an adult around you thinks you're done, then you can do the exit ticket. And that's going to show how much you've learned. You're going to complete it on a whiteboard or a piece of white paper, and then you're going to take a picture and upload to Firefly. Here is the exit ticket. It's going to be these 2 problems. You're going to complete the number bond for these 2 problems. So I'm going to leave this here. Maybe you want to press pause so that you can record them. And I'm going to say goodbye until next math class. Bye.